Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another KD Careers Talk. And today we have Rickie Ohiry, who is an engineer at Chevron, and Jennifer LaPlaca Levin, who is a certified hypnotherapist. So, just start off, we're going to have them introduce themselves and what they do.
Jen, I'll let you go first. Yeah.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. So I'm Jen. I'm a certified hypnotherapist, and I help people release their fears and break bad habits so that they can make more money, attract more love, and improve their health.
Nice. So my name is Rickie Ohiry. I am an engineer at Chevron. What I do is essentially engineer solutions that are computer-based. I use automation as my main mode of engineering. And yeah, I've been doing it for almost 10 years now.
Thank you guys for that. So let me introduce myself. My name is Blair Adams, and I'm a senior ambassador, and I'll be helping Olu and Evelyn with you guys' interview. So our first question will be, why did you choose your career?
Awesome. Well, you know what, everyone? I actually was a TV producer before I became a hypnotherapist. And I really, really wanted to be in entertainment. I wanted to work on talk shows, and I did. I came out to California from New York, and I came out to work on the Ellen DeGeneres show. And so I packed up my bags and I drove across the country, and I was like, this is my dream job. I'm going to be a TV producer. And I got to experience life in a very exciting entertainment world. I got to work with celebrities. I get to go on set, and all of that stuff was what I really, really wanted to do, and is really what brought me out to LA. And then everything changed when I had children. And I know you guys are young and you're not even thinking about having kids yet, but it's like your priorities change. What is important to you changes. When you work in TV, it is so demanding in terms of your time. I might have to work every weekend. I might have to work through dinner time. I may not, get home from work until 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. And I just realized when I had kids, I didn't want that. I wanted to be home to be able to put them to bed at night. I wanted to be able to go to their soccer games after school. So I reevaluated, and I decided that I needed a change, something that would let me be my own boss so I can make my own schedule. And so that when I work hard, I know the money's coming back to me instead of a corporation or my bosses. I wanted it to come back to me, my hard work to pay off for me and my family. And so after I had kids, I decided to become a hypnotherapist. And I just love it because it gives me flexibility. I can make my own schedule. I can take days off when I want to. I can take vacations when I want to. I can say, okay, I'm done at 4 because now it's time to go pick up the kids. And it's given me the freedom to do that. So that's why I decided to switch.
I like that. Yeah. And so my story is similar. I had not in relation to kids, no kids yet, but in regards to, I had a plan, and then eventually that plan shifted as life threw something different at me. So when I was in school, and after graduating from high school, I learned that one of my favorite 2 subjects was math and science, and I did pretty good at those subjects. And so I wanted to be a pharmacist going into college. And it wasn't until my dad got sick, he felt really ill, and that kind of changed everything for my life. And I think for me, what ended up happening was my priorities became, how do I graduate with a 4-year degree and make money immediately? And so I just did a lot of research at the time, and leveraging the skills that I had in math and science. Engineering was the best fit for me. Coming out of college, you can, without an advanced degree, you can essentially make a pretty good salary. So I decided on studying chemical engineering. I graduated with a degree there, and then eventually joining in with the oil and gas industry with Chevron. So.
Thank you so much. Being that you guys didn't have a dream career at the beginning, when did you guys know that, when did you guys start to see your current career as something you should pursue?
Well, when I was in high school, I wanted to be an actress on Broadway. And I was determined to go to New York City and perform on Broadway. That is what I was focused on in high school. I was in a performing arts high school, studying drama, taking voice lessons, dance lessons, doing all of that. And I was so passionate about performing. And I went to New York, I did the whole auditions, I got to perform, I got to be in commercials, I got to do a lot of things. I never made it to Broadway, but I got a little taste of a performer's life when I did summer stock theater in Connecticut, and I did a show for maybe 2 months in the summer. And by the end of that 2 months, I was like, oh my God, this is like the same show over and over and over and over and over and over again. You're like, okay, I'm kind of bored now. Never in a million years did I think I'd be bored performing on a stage in front of an audience. It was what I always dreamed and wanted to do. But then I realized it wasn't the right fit for me, because like, if you're going to be on Broadway, some people do the same shows for years and years and years and years and years, right? And I learned something about myself in that. And what I learned was I need change. I don't want to do the same thing at work every single day. I want diversity in my days. I want there to always be something new and exciting to learn and to do. And being a talk show producer gave me that, because every week we were producing a whole new show with different topics, with different guests, different themes to the show. So it's interesting how you kind of discover through doing sometimes what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And what you think you may really want to do now may change when you actually get into that career a little bit, and you might reevaluate, and that's okay. It's okay to make changes and to follow your heart and to learn from each experience that you do, what works for you and what doesn't work for you. I also did an internship at Nickelodeon Casting and Talent in New York City, in which I was like, oh, dream internship. This is so cool. I get to like watch people audition to be on TV. And I thought, this is awesome. And I was sitting at a desk all day. And I was like, this is miserable. I don't want to sit at a desk all day. I need to move. I was like, this is not for me. I don't want to work in a corporate world where I'm stuck behind a desk. So there's learnings in each little thing that you try, right? And that's why internships are so great.
And so for me, in high school, I was a student athlete. I think when I was in middle school, I used to say, me and my friends, we always used to say this thing: I swear if we get 6 feet, just 6 feet 0 inches, we'll make it to the league. That's what we thought, you know. Now I'm 6'2". There was no way I had enough talent to be able to do that. So a lot of things changed. I played basketball through high school, walked on in college, but engineering became kind of a full-time thing. I mean, it was between work and engineering. It was you had to commit the time. And I think for me, you know, my dream was playing basketball, but then those dreams changed as I became more realistic about, you know, what the likelihood was and utilizing my skills. And ultimately, what I like doing is solving problems. I love solving problems. That's my passion. And it doesn't have to be in the workspace. It could be at home. It could be just with friends. I try to be the person to solve the problem. And so I'm able to do that with my job. And that's how my dream and my passion shifted to engineering. And I was okay with it. It's often not the least understood industry or profession. Oftentimes engineers you know, just saying that title can be very ambiguous to the general population. But I think that's the beauty in it, right? The beauty is, you know, it's not as known as like a lawyer or a doctor as far as what we do, but we know what we do. We know we solve a lot of problems that help, you know, everyone kind of, you know, utilize a lot of different things and turn complex things into simple things. And it's pretty cool. It's just cool, and I get to travel. I mean, so ultimately, I think, you know, it's interesting how I think back to what I wanted to do in high school, and how that's completely shifted to today. And now I have new dreams. So I think your dreams are ever changing.
Thank you for that. And as an engineer, certified hypnotherapist, what does the general salary look like for you?
Yeah, it's a great question. So the cool thing about being a hypnotherapist is you can make your own prices. You can decide how much you want to charge for your hour of time. And so what I charge is $200 an hour. And if someone buys a package, I give them a discount. So for 4 sessions, it's $700. And for 8 sessions, it's $1,200. So I'm fairly new in my business, and I've been doing it for about 2-3 years. And right now I'm making my highest month has been $6,000 for the month, which may seem like a lot or not a lot. It's not enough to live off of my salary alone. I have a husband who's also working and brings in money. I decided to take this path after when I was a TV producer, just to give you kind of a comparison. I was making around $11,000 a month. And now I'm at like 6,000. So I decided to take a pay cut. I knew I was sacrificing money, but I knew what I was getting back was time. Time with my family, time to exercise, time to pursue other things. So, you know, you kind of look at, and my hope is someday that I will be back up to my producer salary as a hypnotherapist. And I think it's possible. Right now, when I'm making $6,000 a month, I'm seeing about 3 clients a day and about 4 days a week. So I have at least 1 or 2 days off on top of my weekends off.
And so again, my title is a process control engineer. So median salary for a process control engineer in Southern California is probably around 125 salary. And then, you know, depending on the company you work for. So with Chevron, they have a pretty good bonus package, around 10 to 15%. And then you have a 401k matching, which might seem foreign, but it's essentially money that goes into a retirement you can't touch until you retire, unless you pay penalties. And then they contribute to a pension as well. So depending on the company you work for, you know, total package for a automation or controls engineer could be around 160 a year, median. And then starting, you can expect to get around 90,000 salary.
That's really cool to hear from both of you. You know, I really like how Jen doesn't really, you know, have any starting. She can kind of set her own prices. She can kind of, you know, maneuver that way. So that's pretty cool. So our next question would be, you know, you guys' careers before COVID, I would imagine they changed a lot. So how were they before? How would you describe them before COVID? And then how do you think they changed?
That's a great question. You know, before COVID, I was seeing all my clients in person. They would come to my office. I have a home studio behind my house, and they would come here. So whenever I was trying to find clients and bring in new business, I had to target people or look for people who live near Glendale, California, or at least, you know, 30-minute drive. No one wants to drive for more than an hour to come see a hypnotherapist, right? But what happened after COVID is suddenly everyone got used to doing things on Zoom. It was very normal, like we are right now, to be on Zoom. So suddenly my business grew because all of a sudden I could start seeing people in Connecticut, in New York, in Colorado. I can start seeing people from all over the world. And so I feel very, very lucky that COVID for me and my family actually helped my business to grow, because it opened everyone's minds to the idea that you can do therapy over the internet and that you don't have to be in person to do hypnosis. Yeah, so that is really how my business grew as a result of COVID and shifted.
And so for me, I think previously, before COVID, shoot, it feels like forever ago. But yeah, I was going into the office 4 days a week, and then every other Friday. And so my office is a refinery. It's in El Segundo, California. And so oftentimes what that allowed me to do is, I probably sat at my desk maybe 30% of the time, and then the other 70% I'm either going in between meetings or actually in the field. So it changed a lot about how my day worked. And then also, like, just on a non-work or professional level, I mean, driving, LA traffic is a thing. And but my commute allowed me to enjoy things like podcasts and music, listening to any new albums or whatever that came out. And I think that helped kind of allowed me to download before I went to the gym or just went about the rest of my day. So that changed for me. And then post COVID, or like now, just getting used to remote work, working from home, and then also a lot less travel. So our business travel completely slowed down. I used to travel about 25 to 40% of my work, or my days, I would be flying out somewhere and helping out or training. And so completely changed, completely stopped travel. And but that's starting to pick up again. But I think there's going to be kind of this hybrid or this mixture of remote work and then actually reporting in.
So thank you for sharing. Being that it's kind of hard to get up every day, especially now during quarantine and COVID that we have to adjust, what's something that motivates you to work in your career choice every day?
What motivates me is my clients' success stories, is hearing them tell me that after doing hypnosis, they are sleeping through the night when they weren't before, or when they're doing hypnosis, they had their highest sales month and were able to make career changes and go after something that they wanted. To hear my clients say that after doing hypnosis, they were able to have a childbirth experience that was free of fear and anxiety and wonderful. Hear my clients are losing weight after working with me, to see them see the results on the scale, or to stop cracking their knuckles or biting their nails. Like, the cool thing about my job, what motivates me, is hearing their success, hearing them do well after working with me. It is such a rewarding profession to be in. Because you see the results and you see the change, and it's not just little changes, it could be life-changing changes, like huge things that they've been struggling with their entire lives. And then all of a sudden it's gone, or it's better, or it's changed. And that's exciting to me. That feels magical to me. That feels powerful, and feels like a true gift to be able to participate in their journey for healing and change, to be a part of that, and to have people open up to me and to be feel comfortable pouring out their souls and revealing things, saying things to me that they may not have ever spoken out loud before or told anyone. To feel like I have that connection and ability to that trust, that they can trust me, is such a gift. And it's such, it's so rewarding. And that's what motivates me every day.
So my answer is two-pronged. So the first being, what motivates me is being able to provide for my family. And then the second, and I'll touch on each, but the second is, again, just feeding my passion of solving problems. So the first one, the only reason why I work today, I don't work because I want to. I work because I want to provide for my family. I think there is things that I'd much rather be doing with my time, but I think it's important to know, like, when I wake up in the morning and I go do something that I have to do, like a job, it's important to know that you have to remind yourself of those things if you ever forget. And the best way I remind myself is just keeping it in front of me. So I'm always doing stuff that helps me remember, like whether it be my household finances, whether it be just checking in on my mother, checking in on my siblings, and just overall just consistently making sure that I'm always thinking about my family, always thinking about the things, the drivers, and why I'm waking up, doing what I'm doing, making the sacrifices that I'm making. So that's first and foremost. And then the second piece is just solving problems. I honestly believe that, um, you know, God's will for me is to, help solve problems, not the most complex problems. It can be the smallest problems. It can just be, um, just helping out with little things here and there, or it could be, a larger in magnitude problem. But overall, like, um, once I've learned and kind of figured out that that's something that I like doing, and I like that gratitude that comes with seeing someone's reaction, or seeing my work realized at the workplace, whatever the case may be, seeing the benefits. I think that that helps to, for me at least, waking up in the morning just knowing, like, you did something. You mattered. What you did mattered. But that's motivating for me. That keeps me going. Keeps me doing what I'm doing.
Thank you guys. And like we said, we know like COVID-19 has had an impact on everybody. So we want to know, like, is your workplace people oriented? And if it is, like for you, Jen, I know you have clients, so how do you maintain good relationships with them? And for you, Rickie, how do you maintain good relationships with your coworkers?
Yeah, so before COVID hit, I was very much a people person, like in person. But when it came to showing up on social media, I was really scared. It was like I was afraid people were going to judge me when I posted something. So I'd go on, I'd look at everybody else's Facebook's posts and Instagrams, but I wouldn't say anything. I would just look at everything. And what I realized was to keep those relationships in a time when I can't go out and see people, I had to show up online. I had to show up on social media. And I had to get over my fear of judgment, of what are people going to think about my post. So I had to do my own hypnosis. I had to go see my own therapist to help me overcome that fear. And what I did was I started setting goals for myself. I'm going to do 3 posts a week. I'm going to do a personal post and reveal something about me. I'm going to do a post about posting to promote an event I have coming up, or something to promote my business. And what I found was, when I started showing up on social media and connecting with people that way, my business bloomed. I couldn't believe it. Because now I'm showing up. I'm not scared of doing an Instagram post or a Facebook post. And this is how I stay connected with my community. This is how I stay connected with everyone I've met in my life, all the way from high school up until colleagues who I went to hypnosis school with. And I stay active in the hypnosis groups. Like I went to HMI College for hypnotherapy. The cool thing about becoming a hypnotherapist, you don't have to go to school for 4 years. You don't have to do a full college degree. You can do a 13-month program and be certified and have a whole new career. So I did go to college. I did get that degree in advertising, marketing, communications. And then when I made the change, I just had to do 13 months of school. So I stay in touch with my colleagues through the Facebook groups. And when I have, and what I do with my clients is I have an email list. I send out emails once in a while, and I host a monthly free hypnosis workshop. And you guys should all come and try it out. It's once a month. The next one's April 25th, and it's called Less Sweets, More Sweat. And it's all about hypnosis to cut back on the sugar and get yourself moving more, get yourself motivated to exercise more. And so by hosting these free community events every month, it allows me to connect with new people from all over the world. I have some people coming from Japan and Amsterdam and all over the place. And then what happens is, like, for Christmas, I sent all my clients a Christmas card just to say Merry Christmas. Whenever somebody refers me a client, if a friend or a past client sends someone new to me, I send them a thank you card, and I send them a $5 Starbucks gift card to say thank you. And this is the way I stay connected with my community. And yeah, thank you.
So for me, our workplace is, yes, people oriented. I think we have, like, pre-COVID, we had these what is called employee networks, and I was the president of the Black Employee Network. Actually, we have a pretty good partnership with King Drew, where we host an annual scholarship for seniors, and we try to do that every year. We've been doing it at least for the last 11, 12 years or so. But yeah, so I was the president for a couple of years. That was good because it's just like a student organization, and it allowed you to stay connected with not just people within that demographic, but also, I communicated a lot with other leadership and other student employee networks. And so that's one way. I think they have a really strong foundation in that. I think just getting involved is the best way, for me at least, to be relational. The more involved I was, the easier it was to connect with people. But that's a choice, right? You don't have to do that. And so that's how I thrive. I do thrive with, face-to-face interaction, but just one-on-one connections as well. So post-COVID, so like now, I am more intentional about one-on-one conversations. We use Teams and also WebEx, but similar to Zoom, we just, instead of waiting for the meeting where there's 20 people, 10 people, 5 people involved, after a meeting or before a meeting, I'll call that colleague I'm closest to that I haven't connected with in a while, one-on-one, and just catch up. I think that's the best way for me to continue that relationship that I've already built. But I think that's it's been working, but I definitely can't wait to transition back to what normal was, or whatever the new normal will be. Because even face to face, there's just nothing like it. And I think one thing we tried to do post COVID was we got together at parks. We would get together, like, the normal group that typically got together in the workspace. We would get together, the same group. Took us a while, but we would get together and just connect, socially distance, and just hang out, talk to each other, catch up, complain about the things we used to complain about, and just, talk about anything that's recent that's been going on in the world that we just hadn't been able to talk to any colleagues about. So that helped for sure. And then I think moving forward, we can expect things to start to open back up and slowly transition to a more comfortable place where we can connect again face to face.
Thank you guys both for that. I really like hearing that from both of you guys because, as you can see, school is affected by, COVID as well, and it's very different. But it's cool to hear how both of you guys, still stay connected. And so our next question will be, what key points would you like students to take away from your presentation today?
Well, I don't know if I ever even told you guys what a hypnotherapist is, and I love to just kind of cover that if I haven't already. I'm so sorry. Do you guys know what a hypnotherapist does? Raise your hand if you know what a hypnotherapist does. Okay, so I cannot let you leave here being like, what the hell does she do for $200 an hour? Okay, so okay, conscious brain, right? We have a conscious brain and we have a subconscious part of our mind. Our minds are so powerful. So are you all driving yet or not yet? Are any of you 16? Any of you get your license? Yeah, raise your hand if you have your license or if you know how to drive. Okay, so when you first learn how to drive, you're very much in your conscious brain. You're like, okay, I got to put my seatbelt on. I got to look in the left rearview mirror, check everything, hands on the wheel. I'm turning left, blinker, left, left, left. You're up here because you have to think about everything consciously because you're still learning how to drive. You're learning it for the first time. But what happens after you've driven to school every day for a year, or you've driven to work every day for 2 years, all of a sudden, your subconscious mind drives you there and you don't even think about it. All of a sudden, you're at your destination and you're like, how did I get here? Because my brain certainly wasn't thinking about this drive. I was thinking about what I'm gonna have for dinner tonight. I was thinking about what that person posted on Instagram. I was thinking about that girl I like or that boy I have a crush on, right? Like you're thinking about something totally different. How did you drive there? Your subconscious mind got you there. And that's through the law of repetition. After you do something so many times, all of a sudden, if you've driven that path every day for a year, all of a sudden you just do it. There's like a neural pathway created in your brain that just, now that drive becomes easy and automatic and habitual. And you don't even have to consciously think about it. And so that's kind of like where we're tapping into in hypnosis. So when you have behaviors through doing something the same every day for a long time, whether it's like every night when I sit down to watch TV, I'm gonna have a bowl of ice cream because I know that couch is chips or ice cream, right? It's like you don't even consciously think about it. It just sort of automatically happens because now you have an association in your brain of couch, TV, ice cream. At least that's for me. Whenever I go home to Connecticut and I sit on my parents' couch, I want ice cream because that's what I grew up doing. And so there's a strong neural pathway in the brain, and the brain wants to go down the path of least resistance. So it's going to keep reinforcing the behaviors we've been doing for so long. But say those behaviors, those things that you've been doing are no longer working for you. You don't like them. You want to change. If you have a bad habit and you're like, even if it's like smoking or vaping or, like I said, biting your nails or eating unhealthy food that you know is not good for you, consciously you're like, I want to lose weight or I want to eat healthy. I know I should be, but I just can't help it. When I get stressed, I go and I grab food to soothe myself, to calm myself. Or I know I should exercise, but I just don't want to. Like I'd rather go do this instead. So what we do in hypnosis is we basically tap into your subconscious mind, and we start to get your subconscious mind really excited about exercising or come up with a plan. So instead of ice cream when we sit at the couch at the end of the day, what's something else you could have instead? I like apples and almond butter, like obsessed with apples and almond butter. So good. And so I say consciously, I'm going to have apples and almond butter instead. But then what happens is I get to the couch and I want ice cream. So in hypnosis, we start to imagine and visualize, instead of having ice cream, we have the almond butter and apple instead. And then we think about, well, what's that going to do for me in my life? Oh, I might look really good in my bikini. I might drop some weight. I'll be able to run more easily in gym class, whatever it is. You start to think about, oh, how good it's going to feel when we're doing the new behavior. and we get really excited about it. Or maybe it's like a career, like I want to be this when I grow up. So we start to visualize and imagine being in that career, thriving in it, making the money, and what our house is going to look like, how we're going to feel, what it's going to bring into our lives. And I give these suggestions to you under hypnosis, and we start to visualize and imagine it, because the subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between fantasy and reality. So what if we can convince your subconscious mind that you're ready, healthy and thriving and full of abundance and love and have money flowing into your home? What if you can imagine being with that one you love and doing fun things together? And if we can really get that really vibrant in the subconscious mind through hypnosis, that very relaxed state, then all of a sudden it just becomes easy, automatic, and habitual, just like driving a car does after driving for a year or two. So it doesn't feel like you're fighting against yourself. It's like your subconscious mind is supporting you in your goals. Because hypnosis is a very relaxed, natural state. We're all in hypnosis every day. We just don't realize it. We all go into hypnosis right before bed when we start to get a little sleepy, a little daydreamy, and our brain waves start to slow down. You're in a hypnotic state. So what I want you to take away from this is when you kind of get sleepy, that 20 minutes before bedtime, I want you to really start to visualize and think about all the things that you want and imagine you already have them and write them down. Write them in a journal like, I am making however much money you want to make. I am making $20,000 a month. I am getting straight A's on my report card, or I aced that test. You want to write, even if it hasn't happened, write it down like it is in the present tense, because you're already in a hypnotic state. So you could take advantage of that. And your handwriting is directly connected to our subconscious minds. And what happens is when we write it down, we start to visualize and imagine our goals achieved right before bed. It drops into your precognitive dreams. And then all of a sudden, the mind starts to really get on board with this idea, and then it's going to support you in your waking life so that when you see opportunities, it's like bing, 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 bing. I need to talk to that person. I'm going to go sit down and study right now because I know this is going to help me get that A on the test. And that's where the change starts to take place. So you can start doing hypnosis on yourself right now, just by when you start to get a little sleepy right before bed. Don't go on Instagram, don't watch the news, don't watch a scary show. Write down your dreams as if you've already achieved them and get really visual, connect with all the senses. What does it feel like? What do you see? What do you smell? What do you taste when you have those goals achieved? So that's what I would love for you all to try. Take away from this.
Okay. See if I can top that. So my takeaways, I'll start with a question. So and this is a question to all the students. Again, thanks for taking the time to join. But my question to you is, what keeps you motivated? Why are you here? Why do you go to school? And so the answer may be, my parents are forcing me to go to school. I would rather not be here, and that's okay. But then you ask yourself, why are your parents forcing you to go to school? If that's the answer. And I think that's important because, I was asked earlier about what motivates me, and I don't think I really understood why I was doing the things I was doing in high school. So the key takeaway or key learning for me looking back was, sometimes you just kind of put one foot after the other, like walking upstairs, right? Just one foot after, just look down, one foot after the other. You don't have to know going in the right direction, but just continue to put one foot after the other. Right now, that left foot is in school. It's doing what you're doing right now. The right foot that's about to take the step is to do homework tonight or to prepare for the next class. And then you just continue to do that. And then before you know it, you will have your high school degree and education. You may have, depending on what you want to do with your life, you may have a college degree, maybe an advanced degree, a job, the car that you always wanted, the dream house, the being able to provide for your family, you know, all the things that you can dream of. But the takeaway for me is just, and what I want to deliver to you guys is, you know, just put one foot after the other. Put one foot after the other. You don't have to know why you're doing what you're doing, as long as you have people around you and you're doing those things because you're hearing it from people that you know love you, right? If your parents are the reason why you're here, they love you. You know, they have their best interests in heart. So, you know, continue to do the things that you think are right, and will get you to where you want to go and get you to have your dreams realized. And then I'll close with just quickly defining what a chemical engineer does. So, a chemical engineer essentially can do work in a bunch of different industries. Again, I work in oil and gas or energy. You can work in cosmetics, food, pharmacy, a bunch of different things. And essentially what we're doing is we're combining chemistry with large scale applications. So if you have this new product or solution and that's made in a chemical lab, you have to scale it to make it big enough for a lot of people to use it. So essentially what I'm doing is, you know, doing calculations on paper to make sure, you know, what was done in the lab can be scaled up. And then I'm helping to monitor those solutions, make sure it works well. And then currently what I'm doing as an automations engineer is I want you to think of, I mean, I'm sure you've all done laundry, right? So imagine when you go to a washing machine, you're pressing maybe 2 or 3 buttons. You press, you know, your water setting, your speed, and then you hit on. And then you're done. You walk away from it, you come back, your clothes are washed. So something is happening in the background where it's programmed. And so that's what I do today. I program the stuff that happens in the background to make the washing machine let water out, then disperse the detergent, and then send another rinse tumble at the same time for a number of minutes. Those are all things that are configured by something. And that something is me. I help to engineer those type of solutions. And that's it.
Thank you so much for your words of wisdom. And before closing out, Mr. Ohiry, what encouraged you to give the presentation to the students today?
So my sister graduated from King Drew a number of years ago. I was supposed to go to King Drew. I went to Curtis. I was supposed to go to King Drew. I didn't end up going there, but I always had a passion to support King Drew. Whenever I hear from King Drew, I jump at the opportunity. So because I see, you know, myself and my sister and you guys, so that's why I'm here.
Awesome. And I was invited by my good friend Tatiana Hatchett, who was a teacher there. Do you all know Tatiana? I think she was a chemistry teacher, right? Yeah, so Tatiana and I went to college together in New York, and I know that she loves her students and loves the school very, very much. And when she asked me to do it, I said, of course, because I think what you guys are doing is amazing. I never had anything like this when I was in school. You know, when it comes to careers growing up, it's kind of like you only know what you know. You only know what your parents do, what your friends' parents do, what you see, your teachers, right? So I think this is so incredible that you guys are learning about so many different types of jobs that you probably never even knew existed before. Like, I didn't know about what a chemical engineer did, that like somebody had, you know, I mean, it seems like obvious, like, oh my gosh, somebody has to create the way that the soap's going to go through the washing machine. Like, but did you know that like someone like Rickie does that? Like, that is something I had never even thought about. So what you guys are doing right now, just by being here and having open minds to learn, I think is phenomenal. And I hope you guys are getting some good ideas on what you want to do moving forward.
Thank both of you guys. And right now we're going to open questions to the students to the chat. But I just want to thank both of you guys for being here and giving your presentation to King Drew students.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Such an honor, really, truly. All right, you guys have any questions?
Was college hard? Yes. Very difficult. It changed. I had to change my study habits. I kind of just coasted in high school. So I had to actually be intentional about when I studied. So yeah, college was difficult for me.
Yeah, college was a lot of fun, but I was never a student that just could hear something once and then get it and take a test and, and pass. I had to really, really study, and I needed the repetition. I needed to hear it again or read it again and again. I did a lot of flashcards to learn. So it was hard. Yeah, it was hard, but it was also really fun. Really fun.
Yeah, I left that part out, but yeah, academically it was a challenge for sure. But you know, it balances out for sure. What's something you wish you knew going into your field of work? Man, I don't know. I think for me, I think I wish I knew my worth going in. So I think it's always important to realize, like, just as much as you really want a job, like, it's important to remember that you are highly sought after, right? Wherever you are, wherever you're applying to, like, you are highly sought after. And so just continue to remember, like, it's important to do as much, you know, putting your resume out there, marketing yourself in different ways, just making sure everything is polished, because you know that'll help you really know your worth. And I think that's one thing I wish I knew.
Mhm. Yeah, and kind of piggybacking on what Rickie said, um, you know, when you're first applying for jobs or when you are trying to find business, trying to find clients, it could feel kind of intimidating and like, oh, I have to, I need something, right? Like I need a job or I need a client to pay me money, right? But what if we can release that sort of lack mindset? And what if we could replace it with, I have everything I need and more. I am full of abundance and love, and I am healthy, I'm strong, and I have an education. And so, therefore, when we come to our potential employers from that place of abundance and confidence, there's not that sort of lack that kind of people feel. They feel that energy of lack. When you show up with confidence, knowing that you have something very valuable to offer that other people need, it's like magic. All of a sudden, people want to work with you. People want to hire you because they feel that energy from you. So I think that's like the thing I wish I had known early on, like rather than feeling like nervous to ask for people's business, what if I just said, here's what I do, because I know there's somebody out there who needs me. And people want to be around that energy of abundance, right? And happiness and joy and gratitude for all the good things you have in your life right now.
And so another question I see is, where do you see yourself in 10 years? So I guess quickly, I definitely see, you know, my family growing, a couple kids running around, maybe me coaching them on my part-time. That's where I kind of see myself. I won't even touch on work. I mean, I plan on progressing myself into like a more of a management role, but I think for me, 10 years from now, I really want to have some kids running around.
Yeah. In 10 years, I would like to have other people working for me. I would like to hire other hypnotherapists to work for my company so that it takes some of the hours off of my own day. Because right now I'm almost maxed out on how much time I can give. And I know there's more people who are going to continue to be attracted to what I'm doing. So I would like to have other people that I can give them the work and take a cut of it. So that way it's more like passive income for me. So I don't necessarily have to actually be in the doing. If I can have audio files that people can buy online. I can create them, put them up, and then there's just passive income. There's money, people just buying them off the internet, or I have a staff of people working under me that are all seeing clients, and I'm getting a little bit of each of their salaries, each of their hourly rates, so that I don't necessarily have to work harder to get more money, but I can manage and oversee and allow more time with my family and doing those things that I love while money just flows in. That's my goal for 10 years.
And a time where I felt like giving up, in college. So I mentioned that my dad was sick. So he had passed away when I was like a sophomore, like going into my sophomore year in college. And so that was a struggle that I had to overcome. It kind of changed a lot of things and affected me while I was in school, kind of being away. But yeah, I mean, I think just it took some time, but I got a lot of support from my mom to just continue on. And after some time of grieving, I think it allowed me to kind of refocus and recenter what I wanted to do in my life. So that's when I declared chemical engineering as my major. And I think on the second question about the chemical engineer dream job, that kind of leading into that was not something I wanted to do. I didn't even know what it was until college. So again, I wanted to be a pharmacist. And so, chemical engineering was just a means to an end. Getting to not have to do school anymore, but also being able to pursue my passion and get paid.
Before we continue, I just wanted to say thank you to both of you for, sharing your time, sharing your stories, sharing your wisdom. And I want to invite our students to go ahead on the chat and give you a big thank you for being here. Because I know that I think, Rickie, you need to leave soon.
Oh.
And I'm going to put my Instagram. So if anyone wants to follow me or stay in touch, I'm LA Modern Hypno. Or on Facebook, I'm Jennifer LaPlaca Levin, Modern Hypnotherapy. So stay in touch with me. I'd love to hear from you. If there's any other questions you have, I'd be happy to answer them privately as well.
Thanks, y'all. Thanks for having me. And Jen, it was nice meeting you as well.
Nice to meet you too, Rickie.
You're giving out his Instagram.
No, I'm not giving out my Instagram. I don't have a business. It's for my personal life, So, but I appreciate it. Thanks again. You guys, good luck with everything. And hopefully I hear from you guys soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.